D-Lo for boxing. All right, y'all. So Terence Crawford just went live on Instagram, giving his version of events that happened leading up to how the fight fell out with Spence and how he ended up ended up with the BLK Prime fight. So I'm not going to rehash everything that he said. I'm sure it'll be circulating around. I'm sure a lot of people snipped it and clipped it and, going to have it uploaded on their channels. Probably some people who went live at the same time posting it, So, I may go back and try to see if I can record it. I didn't know how long it was going to be or anything, but I just wanted to see what he had to say. But one takeaway that I heard, of course, this is what he's saying. This doesn't mean that it's 100% true. It doesn't mean it's a lie. This is just what he said. And what he, one thing that I heard him say was that he had two big time offers on the table for two companies that was trying to pay to put on the Spence versus Crawford fight. And this was at a time when PBC was, dragging their feet on making the fight or whatever. They're going back and forth about money, no guarantee, whatever. Of course, he did come out and confirm that they weren't trying to give him a guarantee. So he's saying that one of the companies or two companies were trying to offer him and Spence about $25 million apiece, and they would get, if the event was a success, they would get to split 80%, I guess, of the revenue. 80-20. 20 would go to the, people put it on. They would get the 80, I guess. He just said 80-20. I'm speculating as to what I think he may have meant. You know what I'm saying? I'm guessing as to what he meant. So I could be wrong. But anyway, after that, he said that, Spence, basically couldn't do it because, he had to go through Al, which, it's understandable. But then when he said, Terence said he tried to talk to Al about it, and Al was like, nobody's getting a piece of this fight. Basically like, either we put it on or nobody's put it on. So, and that's a right that PBC has because they have, Errol Spence under contract. So they can say that, hey, if Errol Spence fights Terence Crawford, it's going to be a 100% PBC event, or the fight just won't happen. Which, if you think about it, that goes in line with the inability of Bob Arum to make that fight, because PBC never had any intentions of sharing the revenue of such a fight with Top Rank or doing a co-promotional deal. They wanted to do the fight. So Bob saying that, Terence Crawford having a promoter to back his end and all, that didn't help make the fight before, so it wouldn't have made the fight now, Like if you believe what Terence Crawford said, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm going off of what he said, which is to me is a little bit better than going off of sources say or breaking news or reports say, So this is what he had to say about it. This wasn't a tweet. This wasn't. This was him going live on his Instagram. So, that was the one thing that I wanted to speak on, was it sounded like to me, he had people reaching out trying to, and which it makes sense when the fight's dragging on like that, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody goes say, hey man, y'all need help making this fight? We'll put it on, which to me, I think I've heard Eddie Hearn say that, they would love to put on that fight, but I mean, they don't have the fighters, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just one of them things where it just, it's a lot of hearsay, but what I'm talking about is what came out of Terence Crawford's mouth on the live. But like I said, I say all the time, it's all about interpretation, I was looking at the comments in the comment section. You got people, speaking out in support of. You got people calling the man names. I mean, I went in the comment section a couple of times and I said, I'm listening objectively like an adult. And I said that intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at some of these comments sometimes and I feel like some of y'all forget that you're supposed to be adults. But to each his own. But so in regards to that, like I said, it's just what he's saying happened. He put up probably like 2 hours ahead of time that he was going live at 10 Some people in the chat saying where's Spence, but I don't. That to me, that just doesn't like. Honestly, Spence and Bud, I know they had their confrontation where they met up, but these guys don't seem like the type of guy to go out of their way to be confrontational with somebody. But if you meet them with some confrontation, then you got to deal with them. So I wouldn't expect Spence to come crash the live and be all in the chat saying this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Now, he may come out and say his own thing about it, or he may just tweet, or he may not say nothing, and he's not obligated to. And him not saying anything doesn't mean that what Bud said is 100% true. And him coming out refuting it doesn't mean that what he says is 100% true. So it's all about perspective. And like I say all the time, it's one of them things that if you're on one side of it where you want to, support one guy, or believe one guy, or just believe in, that the sport of boxing is just not going to do right, whatever your position is probably not going to change because you hear one of these guys go live and give their version of events. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to hear Al Heyman come out and say nothing. We're not going to see anything printed that came from Al Heyman. So, that's just what it is. Another thing I'll add that Terence Crawford talked about, he asked, Al Heyman, can he just, him and his lawyer just come sit down and they just go on and iron the thing out. And, with Al, and Al said his mom was, not really doing the best, and, it just wasn't a good time. And Terence Crawford said he understood that. He understands family first. He's a family first man himself, et cetera, et cetera. So, it was quite a few things revealed. But like I said, if you are to believe that Terence Crawford is FOS and he's a duck, then you're still going to feel that way. If you feel like Terence Crawford is a solid dude and he tried in good faith to make the fight and they just couldn't get the fight over the line because, like he said, he wanted to fight in 2022 and they couldn't make that happen, so he moved on. And if you believe that, then you're probably still going to believe that. And so it's just one of them things where people ask for so much, just like I said about people wanted the negotiations to be private, but at the same time, they were going crazy because they didn't know what was going on. So they were just making up stuff and just taking anything that come out and running with it and just carrying on scandalous. So it was just, and it's one of these things where right now it's the same way. So now we don't really know why the fight didn't materialize, and we want to know, but at the same time, just because you get a little bit of information, you can't just come out and be like, aha, eureka, that's what it was, and then just start condemning everybody and everybody and everything else that's not the side that you want to go with. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, more will come out, but at the end of the day, none of this is going to change the fact that we're not getting this fight in 2022. And that's the real issue is the fight didn't happen in 2022, and it's not going to happen in 2022. Could the fight happen in 2023? Both guys are saying they're still interested in the fight in some way, shape, form, or fashion, so let's hope for it. But I had said earlier that it was 2022 a bust for me. I'm not going to say if they make the fight in first quarter 2023, I'm not going to support the fight. But as far as just riding hard for the fight and just being all in for it like I have over the last several years, that ship is sailed for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been next year, every year since 2018. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, for me, it's time to start paying more attention to, these up-and-comers and some of these other guys that are out here actually, making the fights that we want to see. So, that's where I stand on it. But, much respect to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. I'm glad they both have or supposed to have fights coming up this year. And I'll support both guys. But, because I'm going to support both of them because I wanted to see them fight. They'll give this year, even though they're not fighting each other. I did say if they don't fight each other, I want to see both guys in the ring because they're two guys I absolutely like to see fight. And so depending on, I said I was sort of supporting Terence Crawford's fight because of the price, and you know what I'm saying, because I actually think it's going to be a decent fight. But also, I don't know who Errol Spence is fighting. Don't know if it's going to be on pay-per-view. Don't know what the price point is. But, if it makes sense, I'll support that fight as well. I'm going to support it one way or another. But as far as actually buying the pay-per-view, we'll see. That's all I got on the D-Lo 404 Boxing. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.